Right, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gamerhub Podcast. My name is Joe, and I'm here with my friends and colleagues. Starting with Galadrius the Mighty, all the way from outer space. How you doing, buddy?
Busy as usual, you know me, but good to be here.
Good to be here. Good, good. And also with Davy Boy. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy, how you getting on? I'm good. You?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad at all. Good to have you on again, man. It's not often we get you on the normal on Gamer Hub podcast, but it's always a pleasure when we do have you. Um, we're going to start off before we get into the juicy topics of the week. We're going to start off talking about the games we've been playing, and God knows there's been a lot of games, has there not?
A
Yep.
few.
Who wants to kick us off on this one?
Why don't you go? I mean, it's your topic.
Well, it's the weekly topic, isn't it? It's always there. Okay, so I've been playing a lot of Plague Tale Requiem. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. I've been playing a little bit of Gotham Knights too, and I've also been, as ever, playing Fallout 76. So yeah, that's me really. I'm really hyped to be playing God of War and Pokemon as well. They're coming out pretty soon. It's AAA gaming season, baby. Like I'm hyped. Everyone's hyped, really. I don't know anyone who's not really in a good mood. Even the people who are normally salty and annoying on Twitter.
Now they're just salty and annoying about the AAA releases.
Yeah, I know, but that's
We'll,
hard.
we'll get into that.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get
will.
into that because I know some people are salty about Gotham Knights, but we'll get into that. But I've been playing Gotham Knights as well. Really enjoying the heck out of that. Also been playing Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Now this is the latest one from Ilphonic, the guys that worked on Predator, Hunting Grounds, and Friday the 13th. The game. It's a multiplayer take on Ghostbusters. Like four Ghostbusters against one ghost, and it's really cool. It's really well done. Definitely worth checking out. And it's a multiplayer game that all ages can enjoy, which is something that couldn't be said about Elphonic's previous games. So there you go. Also been playing this game called Warhammer 40,000 Shootas, Blood, and Teeth, which is a side-scrolling affair for up to four players in co-op. It's like Metal Slug meets Orcs meets ridiculousness. It's pretty cool. I like it too. And of course, I've been playing Falling Out. I'll have that review ready later this week, so be sure to check back on that. But yeah, I've been busy waiting on Modern Warfare, waiting on Sonic Frontiers, all that.
Hmm. Awesome. What about you, Davey? And we know you've got some stories to tell us. Maybe you can tell those stories that you've got from experiences in some of the games that you played.
Yeah, so I just finished a Plague Tale Requiem. Fantastic game.
Mm.
If anyone who has this or has any interest in it, don't worry about the 30 frames thing. Like it's I've been playing on Series X and I haven't really had much framing issues. However, did have one bug that I'll quickly tell people. It, if you're in chapter 4 in the game and you're asked to put a jar of resin into a little well, I would highly recommend you do it because it will break your game literally a chapter later. So I would recommend that you do that. But yeah, I finished that. It's pretty good. It's about 15 hours long, so it's double the story time of the first game. But however, it is very, very good. So if anyone has that or is thinking about it, I'd highly recommend giving it a download. You have Game Pass or picking it up on PlayStation or PC, either one.
Mm.
Uh,
Whatever
I've
platform, it
also
runs great on all of them, doesn't it? Hey.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I've also been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign. I've been playing through that a bit. It's pretty good
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
from what I've played. Uh, Big launch now at the end of the week for the multiplayer. Hopefully, it's not a mess and be able to, everyone will get to play it day one, like Overwatch 2. But that's something I've also been playing. Yeah,
Nice.
and they're the main games I have been playing. Once I finished like the last like two missions in Modern Warfare's campaign, I'm moving straight on to Gotham Knights.
Nice. Yeah, it's a lot. It's fun, Gotham Knights. But like for me personally, it's like multiplayer definitely is the one. And unfortunately, I'm just such a Bethesda Game Studios fanboy that and Fallout fanboy that it's not done enough to pull me out. Like I don't care about the 30 frames. Like the game still plays nice and it's fun. It's just I'm so engrossed in Fallout 76 at the moment that that's kind of like my multiplayer game that I'm playing at the moment. Um, but yeah, but there's loads of other stuff that's been coming out at the moment. We've got Mario Rabbit. Is it Rabbids? What's the full name for it?
Rabbids.
Yeah,
Rabbids. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
yeah. And then we've got Bayonetta. We've got some news on the voice actress of that. And everything. What's your guys' take on that? Like the whole, like before we like sort of continue on this stuff, like Bayonetta. You know, the voice actress. I can't remember her name. She was like came out on like made a video just saying boycott it because they only offered me $4,000 or something like that, and then it's since come out that she was maybe uh didn't tell the whole truth. Should we say putting it
Yeah, you're
delicately?
talking about Helena. You're putting Helena Taylor as her name.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I mean, what did you guys think about that? Because honestly, it's not a game not a game I care for at all. So I just didn't really care.
I
But
just,
I think you guys do.
it's just, I think she's just making drama for herself. I mean, like, if something didn't work out, something didn't work out, but don't lie about it because there's always something to show that it isn't a lie. Plain and simple. I mean, yeah, the whole thing has been a mess. Like, you got a Hideki Kamiya calling everybody insects and all that stuff. I mean, and blocking them on Twitter. And you got Jennifer Hale getting garbage because she's the new Bayonetta voice. But the fact of the matter is she didn't deserve it. So, she was classy all the way through, just saying, like, it's not my concern. However, treat voice actors with respect, that sort of deal. And it's just been a mess. I don't think Helena should have tried for the attention grab. I think she should have just wished Jennifer Hale well and moved on to whatever she wants to do next because now I don't know if anybody will hire her again. After all this, it sticks to your reputation. It really does.
Yeah,
So,
it does. Yeah, like they say,
yeah.
like even when you've like get fired from jobs and stuff like that, you should always like be careful to like not be like really confrontational stuff because it can if people of your like future employers see that they are going to be thinking, hell no. You know what I mean? Like it's oh, I don't know. The whole thing for me, at first I was like, oh, I don't know if she should be doing that. Like, and then it came out that she hadn't just been offered. It was more like 15,000 or something like that. And just oh my god, I was just thinking, why have you done this to yourself? You just ugh. But thankfully I didn't care too much. It was just quite funny. What I did think was really savage though is how many people were just like firstly they went into people going in on platinum, and the next thing you know they were going in on like on her herself, what Helena, isn't it? Is that her name you
Mhm.
say? Yeah,
Right. Yep.
going on her, and I was like, oh my god, this thing is just like watching a car crash. Um, yeah. Anyway, well, we'll leave that topic to a side because we don't want to stick to the negativity too much. I just was interested to hear you guys' takes on that one. Um, but like, what else have we got here? So let's talk a little bit about God of War because there's been some pretty decent feedback as you would expect, coming from this game. I personally can't wait to play it. Um, but I saw a couple of like probably Xbox fanboys online saying, "Oh, someone was said it's like, oh, you can tell it's been made for PS4 or something." And I was like, "Well, it still looks better than most games. Like for me, visuals isn't necessarily like what makes a game next gen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, did you guys see any of this?
Um, you know, people are going to complain about frame rate. I mean, we'll get into Gotham Knights if we're going to talk about that a little bit here. But the fact of the matter is, maybe it's just jealousy or something like, or maybe the Xbox fans are just, they're mad at Sony because Sony's trying to stop the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition thing. Oh, we can't have this. It'll destroy the industry or whatever. Meanwhile, Sony, there's this tweet that we'll get to shortly talking about what Sony's going to own in 8 years. So,
Oh my god, yeah, that
I
thing's
mean, the whole
ridiculous.
thing, the whole thing is like, if something isn't on your system, you've got tons of games to enjoy on your system. Have you played a Plague Tale Requiem yet? It's amazing. Have you played Halo Infinite? It's still playable. There's Forza 5. We're gonna get a Forza Horizon 5 until morning. Just there's no reason to be bitter except to be bitter. People are just they think it's like a free license to just go on and just complain about anything. There are people complaining that Drew Barrymore likes standing in the rain or hasn't had sex in a while. Well, fantastic. Neither have I. So let's just rub that into the ground, okay? They'll complain about anything. People, it's just amazing, like what they'll find complaints about. So you got to just brush that aside and just enjoy the games you want. I'm going to pick up God of War. And I'm mostly an Xbox person or a Nintendo Switch person. So, okay, are we going to chastise me? Nope, because I'm in space and you can't find me. So there you go. And the fact of the matter is, you get to enjoy what you want to enjoy. That's something people have forgotten about this game industry. It's like if you enjoy something, that's great. Congratulations, enjoy it. If you don't, hey, there are 500 billion other things that you could enjoy.
There's so much bickering going on online about games. You wonder about people playing them. But Davey, I know you're super hyped for God of War, man. Tell me, go on, talk to me about this.
I think it was like last week where I was listening to a podcast, and the moment of realization hit me. I was like, "Oh my god, this game is less than a month away," and I immediately, once the kind of the first impressions came out, I immediately went to Twitter and blocked so many keywords. So I don't see anything Ragnarok based on my Twitter, which is great. So with the Xbox fanboys and all that stuff, they're just it is funny, the whole Sony situation at the moment with exclusivity. We know that they should have had a showcase last week where with the Silent Hills and the Resident Evil stuff, along with there was something else as well. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy. Those
Wait, hang on a minute. Was that confirmed that they were actually, or was that just a rumor? Because I'm pretty sure
that is you're not gonna. Who's going to drop a Final Fantasy trailer just out of nowhere, along with the Silent Hill stuff? That's why show a Silent Hills stream to have all these people get excited for it just to find out when it's relaunched that it's only on PlayStation. There was definitely.
It was.
Did we?
It wasn't confirmed or anything up until that moment, but I always just assumed that was going to be on PlayStation 5.
But regardless of any of that, with God of War, we saw that there's 5 different modes, and it runs at 120 frames, the 4K 60, it's regardless of anyone saying it's being held back by the PS4, it doesn't really matter. The game, as long as the game runs well, you're fine.
That game design wise is if you think about God of War and how it is at the moment, until they that game design wise was never going to be held back, because it was everything that it needs to do to be to be a God of War game, and the next in that series. It didn't need extra hardware for that. Do you know what I mean? You can turn up the visuals with the frame rate with the extra grunt that the PS5 has, and other than that, it didn't need excess power to deliver different mechanics and stuff like that to the game, because otherwise you'd be changing it too much at this point.
And let's be fair. I mean, this is a game that's going to be offered on PlayStation 4 along with PlayStation 5. Yeah. So some people aren't going to be in it for the 120 frames per second visuals on PS5 because they don't have a PS5. So they'll still enjoy the hell out of the PS4 game. Even if you're playing on a lowly PS4 and not PS4 Pro, and not lowly, it's a good system, but is, older now. But the fact of the matter is you're still going to get a lot of mileage out of Ragnarok. I mean, I know people who are still getting mileage out of Spider-Man, and that's a 2018 game, despite all the bitching and moaning that happened with puddles. I still don't understand that. I'll never understand that.
Wait,
they're puddles.
What was this for the the original
The
Spider-Man
demo.
2018?
Yeah, it was
when,
like it was.
when,
they were showing off
They was going on
screenshots
about a downgrade and stuff. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
God,
they were going on about screenshots. But what's with all the puddles? I'm like, well, it's called water. See, it falls from the sky or it comes from the ground, depending what sprinklers you have, and they create these things called puddles. If you were into school, you'd understand that. But I don't know. People freak out about the weirdest things, but I think no matter what PlayStation system you play it on, God of War Ragnarok is going to be a real piece of work. Obviously,
yeah.
PS5 owners are going to get the most out of it, but that doesn't mean PS4 owners are left in the dark. They're going to get a great game in their own right. That's it.
Beefy game, but
Yeah.
118 gigs, but
Yeah, whatever works. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 is about like 120.
every year.
NBA 2K23 is like 152, and that's before the microtransactions. So, yeah.
Dear.
They're getting bigger.
They are indeed, yeah. I mean, let's... Gladrius, you're such a Nintendo fanboy. Let's talk about... I know you want to talk about Gotham Knights. You can go into this in a second, but I want to talk to you about Mario Rabbids.
Oh, yeah. This is Sparks of Hope. It's the new game. It came out this past week, and it's really well done. You remember the first Mario and Rabbids game. This one's got a more free-flowing combat system.
Yeah.
So you can place your characters better. You can set up combat tactics a little bit differently, and it's really well done. The story is actually pretty cool too. You're battling these dark elements and everything, and the Rabbids and Mario and his crew are working closely together. You unlock new characters, and it looks great. It plays great. It's really well done. There's no multiplayer this time around, but they are doing DLC, and as part of that DLC, Rayman is going to be reintroduced, which is nice. Sometime next year, I'm guessing. But I really like this game. I think it's a sequel that's very well done. And it's Ubisoft's biggest title this season because Skull and Bones is still not ready to set sail, as it were. So, they got to get the most out of it, and I think it's a great title. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it on the Switch, especially with the changes that are made over the first game. Because I know some people were critical about how the battle system didn't work so well in the first game, but in the second game, I think it works way better. I really like this game.
Awesome. And now go on, because I know you've been dying to talk about this. Talk to us about about Gotham Knights. Tell us about why you shouldn't be worrying about the frame rates.
Seriously. I mean, we're at this point where we're getting persnickety. If a game doesn't run exactly at 60 frames per second, it sucks. Spider-Man came out in 2018 and runs around 30 frames per second. Sometimes it stutters a little bit too, but everybody was fine with it, mind the puddles. But the fact of the matter is Gotham Knights runs around 30 frames per second. There are times that it could drop off, and like Davey was saying, there are some things that still need to be patched up. But I really like how the game works out. I mean, it's got a great city for you to explore and stop crimes and zip around. The only negative is that you don't have a cape, so you can't really swoop around. You have to use the cable to kind of get around, which is kind of cool still. I mean, it's still, and then the bat cycle is pretty sweet. You can do wheelies. In fact, sometimes you have to do wheelies to get over obstacles.
Day one bite.
But yeah, but the combat system is great. There's also co-op. I think that's one of the big features about this. You can play with a friend. Now here the frame.
Yeah, I wouldn't play it without the co-op.
Yeah, because you stink, because you're not very good at it. I know. But the fact of the matter is, I think it's really well done. I think WB Montreal, they didn't hit a grand slam, but they definitely hit it close to the gate. I think they did a great job here. Nice follow-up to Arkham Origins, and who knows when we're going to see Suicide Squad, because I don't know if you guys heard, the founders of Rocksteady, they're leaving the studio, Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker. They're leaving to go on a new gaming adventure. So we don't know when Suicide Squad's going to drop. So Gotham Knights may be it for a little while. So, you got to take your Batman stride where you can, even if Batman's not really in it. I love the new characters.
Batman is dead. That's the whole spiel of the new game.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but there are four great characters here. I really like Batgirl, and I really like Red Hood. Although with Red Hood, he kind of looks like Deadpool. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
He does. He's like an angry Deadpool. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
But yeah, I really like this game, and I think it's getting a lot of unnecessary flack just because it doesn't fit to the 60 frames per second standard that we're seeing in a lot of other games at. I mean, the team did a great job, and who knows? We might see something in the future where it is bumped up to that. I mean, look at Spider-Man
There will be a
Remastered.
patch.
Right?
Yeah, there will be a patch.
Mm.
I'm sure there will. I mean, Spider-Man Remastered, that took what, 2 years to come out after the original, and it runs at 60 frames per second. Sometimes you just got to be patient. A lot of people just lack patience. I don't know what it is. But I liked it, and I know you liked it too, Mopish. What did you like about it, and which character did you use, and why was it Batgirl?
Just because that's how I roll these days. I always play with the women. No, I like Gotham Knights. Like I said, it's a lot of fun playing my game share buddy. He's just come back from Thailand, and so we've been playing like just games together, basically. And so it's nice to have someone to play sort of co-op games with again, because really I was kind of just playing with myself, and no, not that kind of playing with myself. I was just playing with myself, and yeah, and it's it's been good and stuff, and I've got a newfound appreciation for the single player game. But yeah, it is really good to be fair, it's just awesome to be a superhero in an open world, or less superhero, but you know what I mean, just people who can do awesome shit, like wheelie around Gotham City. Like who doesn't want that, But to be honest with you, I'm more enjoying Plague Tale. Like that I haven't completed it yet, but I'm playing it every day at the moment. And that game is so good. It's my game of the year personally. Like I would give it game of the year if I could. Um, it's the storyline. It's evolved. The characters, like Amicia is a complete badass nowadays, and like there's this one sort of little fight scene in it that's quite early on, where you are basically she goes sort of crazy crazy and just gets a little bit almost has like a panic attack, and then just sort of starts freaking out, being like, no, I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers, and like you just all these guys are like dropping down at you and stuff, like and you're in you're looking for some random herb or something, and you literally just have to annihilate them all with your sling, and then like these guys with shields came along. I was like, oh no, and then I kept dying for like 3 or 4 or 5 times on the bounce, and I was like, oh yeah, just throw a pot with some like salapita dust or whatever it is, and just it was just so good though. Like honestly, the storyline is fantastic. I swear the AI is better in this game than the last one. Like you can't just sort of in the last one you could kind of just sort of sit and wait for people, but I find now tell me, Dave, if you keep thinking this as well. I find I have to keep moving in this game, or I get found. Like you can't just hide in one bit of cover and just wait for your opportune moment. You literally have to kind of keep moving, otherwise the guard's gonna find you, and then it's a
Yeah, if they've caught a glimpse of you, like trying to, there's like a meter. If you if they have glance at you at all, they will go check.
Yeah.
And then so that you are constantly on the move. But the way that the game implements the crossbow and getting around the map in this game is just fantastic level design. So
just remember,
like in previous storytelling too. Sorry, go on.
Just remember, in previous games, gargoyles were your friends. So if you see any stone gargoyles, use those.
But what about you, David? Do you have anything more to say? Bet Mario. Have you played that?
No, I've played the first one. I will be playing the second one at some point. But going back to the conversation about Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker with Rocksteady.
Yeah.
They're co-founders of the studio, or the co-founders and studio heads. So it's kind of a weird situation to see that they're usually when you see someone big from a company leaves before the game comes out, you're like, oh, the game might be in trouble,
It's normally alarm bells, isn't it?
And
well, you've heard about what's happening with HBO Max. What if it's affecting games too? That's what I'm a little concerned about.
That is very possible, but it's just also the gaming space that we live in now, where these open world multiplayer games as well, isn't Suicide Squad co-op as well?
Yeah, it's co-op too, up to 4 players. One thing you have to consider here is that sometimes people just don't want to be stuck doing the same thing forever. I mean, when they established Rocksteady Studios, I don't know if they wanted to keep doing Batman games or DC games or anything like that. Like even Yoshinori Ono said, "I don't want to do Street Fighter anymore," and he left, and then somebody else took the helm, and now Street Fighter 6 looks like it's going to be the best game in the series. So, I really hope that Rocksteady, stays on the steady, and I really hope. I mean, you do have James Gunn in charge of DC Studios now, so hopefully he'll have some input because he did really great on Lollipop Chainsaw. Just saying. I really hope for the best, and I hope that Sefton and I keep forgetting his
Jamie Walker.
Jimmy Walker, sorry. I really hope they land on their feet. They're good people. I hope they find a nice new adventure. Maybe something within the Marvel universe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll probably get like the death stare from all the people in DC side, but that's just kind of how these things work.
Well, that's how like James Gunn is with Marvel. Be like he's delivering 2 more Guardians of the Galaxy thing, but people are like, "Oh man, he went to DC. Oh, that's gonna suck." No, it's not. Shut up. He wanted to do something different. He is now.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess there's only sort of one more sort of thing to add to this, and that is there's some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news. We all know.
We're skipping Bayonetta. I'm gonna beat you up.
No, you can talk about Bayonetta in a second.
Okay, I'll write Pokemon Scarlet Johansson. Let's go.
Basically, I'll do it in one sentence. There is a new Pokemon announced, and it's a dog, and it's awesome. It's Ghost type, by the way. All right, Gladius onto Bayonetta.
It's the Shaggy DA. No, I mean, Bayonetta 3 is getting majorly good reviews right now. Some people are giving it 10s. Some people are giving it damn near 5 stars. So I'm excited for that. But Pokemon fans are going to love it. They're probably already like, hey, where can I buy that dog? And when can I put it on my shelf and whatever, So they're already planning out. I'm sure you have, too. I'm sure you're looking for a plush version right now on Etsy or something.
I actually have a Pokemon sort of like a whole Pokemon area dedicated to just Pokemon stuff in my sort of entertainment.
His area, his entire house.
Yeah,
he has a Jigglypuff in every room.
I sleep with my Jigglypuff.
Oh my god! I know way too much about you this episode.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that. What about you, David? Do you have anything to say about Bayonetta? Are you gonna play it?
I will play it eventually. Like, I've played through the first and second one. It's not like I'm not boycotting the game or anything because of what you once said, but obviously there will be some kind of conflicted interest now from the stories after her first statement, but also the fact seeing that this game is doing super well. I'd be like, oh, I might just play it a bit earlier, but yeah, like I'll pick it up eventually. It's a game that I will play. But for now, I'm gonna try and finish COD and start Gotham Knights.
Yeah. Oh, talk to me about COD then, because you've been playing the campaign, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the only thing out at the moment, isn't it? So, but yeah, talk to me about this campaign because I've not played it yet, and I'm just hearing phenomenal things about it. I mean, like,
which one?
Apart from what I've COD,
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah.
And it's been like I've just seen like pictures online, and it looks absolutely insane. I mean, it's always been a good-looking game. Let's face it, like the Call of Duty games they have, but this one, like, they really look like the visuals have gone up a notch.
Absolutely.
And I've been hearing like people going on about like, oh my god, the campaign is so good. Is that the case?
It does start a little slow.
Yeah, it does take a few missions, but however, it looks like fantastic. The one scene I see a lot that is going around on the internet is the Amsterdam mission, but how amazing it looks, and like it literally just looks so beautiful. Just like I spent like my first playthrough of that mission just walking around seeing that like in that like mission, the people living in it. It's like, damn, this is literally just like Amsterdam. And I won't go into the campaign too much, but it's what would be the best way of putting it? It's a a lot of people are saying it's not as good as the MW1 or 2019 COD, but I think it's just as good, if not a small bit better. The story is decent, but people like IGN that give this a 6, but give Vanguard a 7. That just
Yeah,
yeah,
that
no.
makes no sense.
Just play the game for yourself and find out if you're
Yeah.
gonna enjoy it or not.
I guess the thing is that IGN, where it's so big, they probably had a different person playing each one. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna move on because there's been more news, and this is coming from a studio that seems to be on the bounce back. CD Projekt Red have announced that they are making, or remaking, should I say, The Witcher from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5. Now, I'm super hype about this myself. Like, I haven't played the original Witcher, and well, yeah. So I haven't played the original Witcher. In fact, I would say I've only played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and so I'm really excited to see this. And actually, now that we know they're moving back to Unreal from their own original, from their own engine that they did on Cyberpunk and the mess that had, I kind of think it's maybe a little bit of a well, A, gets people sort of back into the IP, but also kind of gets them back to using the Unreal Engine and again. Look, sorry about that. Yeah, it kind of gets them back into using the Unreal Engine and sort of gets their developers back into that. How do you guys feel about that? Did you play the original? Are you hyped for this one? And do you think that doing this one is a good way? Sort of, do you agree with what I just basically said?
Go
Uh,
ahead.
Either of
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So, the first one came out 2007. So when a game is, it's been like 15 years. It's the anniversary. Now it's suitable to make a remake. Not
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not 5 years later after
Yeah,
the
not
first game
Horizon.
goes Sony. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously if you played the first one, it does not. The combat system's bit crap. The story is fantastic, but the combat system is pretty crap. I'm super excited to see what they do with this one. Uh, I hope it'll be something like the combat of the Wild Hunt, but
Yeah.
hopefully they might also improve in that as well. And it's good to see CD Projekt Red on the bounce since the awful decline of Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
obviously, sometimes what I gotta do is put out a good anime and people get back into it. So
Yeah, well, it helps that they've fixed the game now, really, as well, haven't they? So there's they fixed the game, and the
Yeah.
anime sort of like being good was like it helps get people back into it. And you
And
know what?
not to
Actually,
mention the fact, not to
go on.
mention the fact that right now remakes just they're going crazy right now.
oh
You have
yeah,
Resident Evil 4 dropping in March. You got Silent Hill 2 coming to PlayStation 5 sometime next year. You got Dead Space dropping in January and looking phenomenal. So it kind of makes sense. Granted, I'm still waiting for Capcom to give us Power Stone again, but for the time being, we'll take what we can get. And from what I understand, the original Witcher had a good legacy to it, but it wasn't as wide as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So it just makes sense to kind of bring it back for people to rediscover.
Mm, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be a great way of. Well, it's apart from anything else, it's probably going to make me go back and play Witcher 3. Um,
yeah. There
which
is
was
one thing though. I did want to kind of bring this up. You got to respect the franchise. Without respect for the franchise, it feels like something's off, and that kind of ties in with another story regarding the writers on the Witcher series for Netflix. Apparently, according to a former producer and writer on the project, they were like they actively disliked the books and the games. They even mocked them for the source material. So, I mean, you got to be a fan. I think if you're not a fan of certain parts of the franchise, you're kind of alienating that franchise. And if you're working directly in that franchise, that's not good. I mean, imagine somebody who's been assigned to work on the X-Men series and they hate comic books.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what?
actually I can't. I tell you what, this is one thing that really scares me about like the 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 people in Hollywood and TV and
Yeah.
stuff, like getting all involved in it. Like this, the Lord of the Rings, classic example. Like I actually quite liked the series for what it's worth. Like I thought it
Me
was pretty
too.
good. Like the woman who plays Gladriel, she's pretty cool.
You say my
Like
name? Oh,
it's a good character.
Galadriel.
But
Okay.
Gladriel is yeah, she is not a warrior. She's a mage. So they these things. The problem about these games and like Lord of the Rings, for example, and games like The Witcher, um, Fallout, for example, they are steeped in lore, and the lore is what makes these games like so incredible to so many people. And they just like, oh, lore, what's that? Like, oh, we don't give a shit, and and they'll just do their own thing with it. Because they just don't care. They just want to make something that they're like, oh, this is a recipe to make good TV. And it's just like, no, but you should be thinking about how to make a good TV show or film of this franchise, like not just what will sell or what's popular. And yeah, I'm actually uh, what you just said then about those people like with The Witcher and like not liking any of the source material. It's just like does not surprise me because it's just
I
yeah.
think that's why it makes sense that we need a remake of the original Witcher. So we see where these origins are and everything. 'Cause, like, I mean, I really don't understand how you could dismiss something like The Witcher 3 when it's sold, what, 30 million copies? I mean, it's still selling well. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. Before it drops on PS5 and Xbox Series X, people are still buying it. You know,
Mm.
yeah, there was a great version that came out for Switch last year. So I think it's just a matter of, yeah, Hollywood's out of touch. I mean, even more out of touch than when they made Super Mario Brothers the movie, and that was out of touch.
They
So
just look at
A
the
small
video
bit.
game industry with dollar signs at them because they're jealous that it makes more than both music and Hollywood put together, and they just look at it and think, yeah, we can make more money out of that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
See,
and it's
so
like,
I think with these new releases, hopefully, they'll turn a corner because we are starting to see a little bit better. Like Mortal Kombat, the 2021 movie was actually really good because they actually threw in fatalities. They didn't do the thing where it's like, okay, we're just gonna suck the soul out of this guy, and it's PG-13, and yay, and Christopher Lambert and whatever. Although I like that version too, that was fun. But the fact of the matter is, it's like some of these writers, like you said, they're in it to write their own way. And to some people, that might work. But when it comes to actually reflecting on the lore of the original material, you might be in a world of crap. You got to be careful with something like that. Because now, how many people are on the fence about Rings of Power season 2? Like, even Amazon said they were going to change around like what the showrunners are doing. They're going to make it worse, which I
yeah,
hate to say. I
yeah.
don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's you know what? I think that we could almost do like a whole like it's something we've talked about actually doing like a podcast for TV shows and movies and stuff. I'm glad I know that is definitely your area of expertise. But we are kind of going slightly off on a tangent away from it, especially because I've just remembered like there's something I mentioned earlier, and I can't believe I omitted it from the topics list. I want to talk about this the Resident Evil 4 remake showing, which looked phenomenal, as well as the Silent Hill remake too. Um, I'm not. I don't really. I'm not too fussed with Silent Hill because I'm proper wet wipe with things like that. But Resident Evil 4 was my favorite Resident Evil by a long, long way. Having played that on GameCube. Um, what do you guys think about this? Did you watch the show? Are you surprised that it's a PS5 exclusive Silent Hill that is? And how do you feel about Resident Evil 4?
I think it
Davey
looks
this
good.
time.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry, sorry.
Uh, I was in. I just started work when the live stream went on. I still have not watched the trailer. I've never played Resi 4, but I will play it for the first time when it comes out. Like I've played Resi 1 and 2 and 3,
Okay.
and I've played 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, but I've never played 4. So I'm looking forward to giving it a shot when it comes out. But yeah, with Silent Hill, like Blooper Team, there was always talks before it was officially confirmed that they were the people making it. They were like, are they really the team to go forward with it? But however, like that's not the only Silent Hills project that was announced. So there's a lot more to come. But yeah, Claudius,
Multiple,
what
yeah.
do you think of any of it?
What do you feel about Bloober Team doing the remake? Do you think they're the right people for it? Because there was kind of a little bit of gas going on Twitter about it in terms of like, people giving them saying, well, oh, the medium was terrible, like, or, well, I mean, I didn't think that, but there were people sort of saying that. Do you think they're the right team for the job? Do you reckon they'll do a good job with it?
Uh, I I don't care as long as they don't mess it up. It's a remake, so
Mm,
use the material you have with a game that's already been made. You can't really mess it up in that sense. But if they do, then you'll realize that Blue Team,
yeah.
it wasn't really that team. But I'm really want to know what Gladius wants, what thinks about it.
I think the best remake I ever played was actually the Mafia Definitive Edition, and it was literally exactly the same game. It's just it was just the visuals were completely changed. Like the voice acting was all like the same, but yeah, just visually it was just like it was a current gen game basically. But Gladius, what do you think about going back to the sort of the Silent Hill stuff and
Um, well, we kind of went away from Resident Evil for a minute there. I really think that Silent Hill is going to be fine. Bloober team, they brought experience to the table here, and people are questioning them because they aren't the original Silent Hill development team. But we have the original creature designer on board, we have the original composer on board, we have several team members that have given the thumbs up of what they've seen so far. I mean, it just reflects back to when Metroid was in the hands of Retro Studios and they were doing a first person shooter, and everybody bitched and moaned because, oh, Metroid's not a side scrolling game anymore. Oh, this is going to be garbage. Then what happened? Metroid Prime Trilogy turned out to be one of the best things Retro Studios ever made, and the fans loved it.
mm,
Sometimes you just got to brush your little thoughts aside and give somebody a chance. If they blow it, they blow it. Then you can complain. Have a field day. I'll join you. Why not? But if it's a good game, then don't question the team. I think Konami's putting a lot of money and a lot of effort into making sure that this project is done right. I mean, it's at the very least, it's not a pachinko game. So let's applaud that. Okay, right? Because that's ridiculous. I still can't believe that. We have a new Silent Hill game. It's pachinko. What the hell? No. But the fact of the matter is, I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt. And we have other Silent Hill projects coming as well. So I think it's fine. It's not Silent Hills like we could have gotten with Kojima and Del Toro, but it does look good in its own right. So I'm eager to see where it goes from here, even if it is only on PS5. You guys really need to have a drink.
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, there isn't a huge amount more to say on it. Although you did work, you were going to say something about Resident Evil as well.
Resident Evil looks good as well. But then again, Capcom has created a repertoire in which they've done really well with their remakes as of late, which
They
is
have,
why,
yeah.
again, Power Stone or the Maximo series. Please and thank you. $5 back.
Capcom are
But
probably the
yeah,
reason that like remakes have become so popular because
well,
everyone's banging on about how amazing the Capcom ones are.
I mean, they're really doing well with some of their releases. Like, Fighting Evolution brought back the Darkstalkers games, which is what we needed, and Puzzle Fighter and Pocket Fighter. So there's an opportunity there for other remakes, but obviously they want to focus on the big Resident Evil titles, which is fine. But eventually I'd like to see other areas of its classic library, revisited.
Hmm.
For Mega Man, why not?
Yeah, sure. Um, okay, and we're now going to move on then into the next topic, where we have got I'm guessing I'm just going to call it some guy speculating on Twitter saying that um, saying who Sony will have acquired in the next 8 years, or kind of 7 years because we're nearly end of this year already. So he's saying by 2030. Um, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to name and shame people. I don't know how clued in this person is, but they have basically said they're going to purchase Square Enix, publisher, publicly traded company, Capcom, Konami, Embrace Group, another publicly traded company, Crytek, who I think Tencent have just bought shares in, Sega, another publicly traded company, Ubisoft, another publicly traded company. Um, and it is saying, remember two things. The great European acquisition war is about to begin, and Sony is at the forefront. Also, 2030 would include two more budget editions. I just don't think the guy understands economics very well, because
Well,
This is just well, Ubisoft. What is that? They're valued at 9 billion or something like that. Sony's market cap is as of this moment is about like 81 billion or something.
And didn't they just
You
buy
you have
Bungie
to
for
pay
like
for a publicly
3.6
traded
billion?
company. You have to pay out all of the shareholders, right? And they're not just going to take it at market value. You have to pay them, like for example, Microsoft with the Activision Blizzard. They're paying like double what the market value stock value was, right? Because otherwise you're not going to get everyone to say oh yeah, and that they were doing this in a downtrend. Bearing in mind if the price is going up at the time, people aren't going to want to sell up for that because they're going to want to see where the market starts to tap out. So this is just unfathomable. Apart from, and if you also look on the markets, like we're starting to tap out with bottoms at the moment. Like, it's just stupid. It's just Sony couldn't afford all of that. I would expect them to pick up a publisher, and Square Enix makes so much sense for them. Like I would expect them to pick up a lot of some other stuff as well, but they are no way are they going to pick up all of that. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Um, did you guys see this?
Well, I mean,
I, I s-
how long did it take for him to acquire Bungie? You know, that's the thing. We're talking about like a big shopping list.
And Bungie weren't even a publicly traded company, and they paid 3.6 billion for him, and like fair enough, but you know what? It's just they're not going. They just won't afford all of that, like in that amount of time. It's like they could do it, but they wouldn't be able to do it in cash. Like they'd have to sort of offset
Well,
their own shares
well,
to do it, and so just it would be a nightmare for them. They just
well,
wouldn't
here's
do
the
it.
thing. Let's do it. Let's do this first. Davey, go ahead and give your thoughts on this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each company and the probability that Sony will pick them up because there's a
That's a good
lot to
shout.
break down here. Go for it, Davey. You first.
yeah, so the only one of those that seems somewhat realistic would be Square Enix because of the exclusivities that they have over with PlayStation. Ubisoft will never sell. Did you also say Embracer? Said they literally just bought like so many like IPs recently that
Yeah.
they're
Em-
not going to want to sell unless like give it about 10 years, see if they're still around, and then they might sell depending on the IP that they'll have, you know. uh, but when it comes to things like this, that all those other companies will not be bought. And the fact that a few of them were publishers, the only main one that actually makes sense would be Square Enix because we know how they they act. That's
Yeah.
the only thing there. Like
I mean, Square
Sega,
Enix. Okay.
yeah, and Sega is like pretty much doing well with Xbox, and if anyone was to acquire them, it would be Xbox because of how they're getting along with the Yakuza series. And however, that new what is it like a Ronin,
Something
the
like that.
last
Yeah.
Ronin or something like that. That new game that was announced for PS5,
Yeah.
the exclusive. You know, that's the only thing I'd see like staying exclusive. Other than that, it's weird. Like obviously with Bungie, they're still a very open, studio. They work outside the first party branch of PlayStation. They they have made it very clear themselves that they are not going to be just tied down to that. And we also know that there's a potential that their Bungie's new game is like a Tarkov style game that they like had in production before they started Destiny. So
Hmm.
like
So can you
things
describe
like
what do you
that.
mean by Tarkov style?
Was it
Escape
like
from
the
Tarkov.
Marathon remake? I thought it was a
Uh,
Marathon remake they were doing.
it's a game basically like Escape from Tarkov, where it's a
Oh, I
PC
see. Okay.
game
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where you have your own stuff. Like the Call of Duty will have it. It's called in Call of Duty it'd be called DMC, but that's a different story. Um, like it's just someone probably on Twitter like also just rolling up fan bases to be like why or just to try and gain
No,
traction. I personally
this
don't think
this
that will
guy
happen.
says they're a writer, and they're gaming industry, and now it just says gaming industry analysis, but I'm pretty sure earlier it
Oh,
said
and Penguins
analyst.
So
fan.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Penguins
yeah,
fan. Don't
yeah.
forget. Yeah.
But
That's important.
anyway, like I don't know, like it just seemed like don't get me wrong, like I said, I think they will pick people up. Like like I said, I think actually may well pick up Square Enix, maybe even like Konami or something like that. But like they need to address the things that Sony need to address in their portfolio. If you think about it, the game, service games, yeah, they started that with Destiny, and Bungie, and RPGs. I think they're more likely to go for trying to sign CD Projekt, if they do buy a publisher and get the Cyberpunk and Witcher IPs. That would be like amazing for them if they did get it. Did you? Which actually, instantly, I saw that was a rumor going around as well. But I just
I
kind of
saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you guys? Do you
Let
think
me.
that was likely to happen?
I was going to break down like each of the companies, but I think like Davey got like most of the gifts down there. But I was just going to talk about each one. Square
Sure.
Enix is obvious; it's going to be an obvious pickup by Sony, not a matter of if but when, because they dumped their U.S. assets over to Embracer. So I mean, and they're doing the Final Fantasy thing. If Sony got them, they'd have a major grab in the Japanese game market, which they need because they kind of dropped in popularity
They
from
disbanded
all
that.
the
Yeah.
with the PS5 stuff. So yeah, they need whatever popularity they can get. Square Enix would be a part of that. Capcom, they're working with Capcom on exclusive stuff. Obviously, Resident Evil 4 Resident Evil 4 is multi-platform. They're not doing that anymore. So I don't see Capcom joining their portfolio. If anything, I see maybe Microsoft making a deal with them, bringing back Dino Crisis, which they totally need to do. But
Absolutely.
I don't see anybody acquiring them. They're too strong a third party. I don't see it happening. Konami's just now getting back into the good graces of fans. They did the Turtles, Cowabunga Collection, Castlevania, Contra. They're starting to do all these releases again. I think they want to build up momentum before they offer themselves to anybody. So I don't see that happening for a few years. They want to get back into good graces of fans and kind of put all this Kojima drama behind them. So I don't see them being acquired. Embracer's too big. They have so many studios that they are practically becoming a big competitor to Sony. So I don't see them getting picked up. I see them continuing to build this momentum, announcing Time Splitters sometime, just something like that. So I think Embracer is going to continue to be their own thing and continue to be big. Crytek, great engine, but I see possibly a computer company picking them up, maybe, or even Amazon.
Well,
Amazon.
I think Tencent just bought into them.
Yeah, and I'll get to that too. Tencent could definitely acquire them and use their tech as well, and they would have access to their library. So Tencent would definitely be a player there. I think that's one thing a lot of people are forgetting. Tencent is a juggernaut in China, and they're starting to make a real pretty good dent here. So picking up Crytek would be a part of that, and I think Ubisoft, sorry, language, is going to be a part of that too, because they've been buying into Ubisoft as well. And I know Guillermo is not happy about being picked up by somebody else, but if anybody's got a chance to do it, I think it's more Tencent than Sony. I think that's going to be happening probably in a couple of years of Ubisoft. Damn it. I'm starting to get your lingo problems there, Mopish. What's going on? And then finally, Sega. I think Sega's going to join Microsoft. Microsoft is looking for an edge to get their Japanese market further out there.
Yeah.
They're starting to get a good footing there, and they're starting to work more with studios like, Atlas and all that stuff. I mean, look, Persona 5 Royale is incredibly popular on Xbox Game Pass and the other games are coming too. The Yakuza games did really well on Game Pass. So I would not be surprised if they went after Sega. And started, because I've been hearing rumors about, Crazy Taxi coming back, Jet Set Radio coming back. Yeah. So I think if Microsoft got those as Xbox exclusives, I mean, Sony probably wouldn't complain as much there as they would about Call of Duty, which is kind of criminal because if anything, we want Jet Set on PS5. But I think Sega will end up in Microsoft's good graces. It may take some time, but I think with all the work that they've done together between Game Pass and trying to expand the Japanese reach, I think they're going to join Xbox. That's me. I mean, I'm a fan of the. I'm not a fan of the Penguins. I can't say I'm not a fan of the Penguins. I like the Avalanche. That's me. There is my official prediction.
They could have. I mean, they've already entered into a quotation marks strategic partnership with Microsoft, haven't they? Yeah, you're right. Microsoft, they need some kind of. That's their next thing, I think. After they need
and
mobile.
I think
they want to grow into mobile, and they want to grow into the Japanese market.
And just imagine this, right? I mean, if they picked up Sega, They also pick up all of Sega's franchises. I mean, whichever ones they didn't make partnerships with, like with other
Yeah.
companies. But imagine the depth of that. Having Dreamcast games on Xbox Game Pass,
Oh, if they could
having
figure
like,
out a way to do a Dreamcast emulator and do
right?
OG Dreamcast games on the
I mean, they
on
already
the
kind of
console.
have. You got
Yeah, I
Radiant
know, but
Silvergun and
it's,
Ikaruga working. It's just it's a matter of I think they will look into the value of that, and I would not be surprised if Sega was the next big pickup after they clear up this Activision Blizzard hub.
mm, yeah,
We'll see.
it's so interesting to see. Like, I think there's going to be where the acquisitions will go, where things will fall into place. We can get an idea based on like working relationships. Obviously, you think Sony and Square Enix and whatnot, and you think Microsoft, and maybe you think Microsoft, obviously Sega, but then there's, I actually think Asobo, obviously the people who did Flight Sim and A Plague Tale would be um, uh, just not a no-brainer for Microsoft as well. Like they address as part of that um, part of Microsoft's portfolio as well. Like I'm fascinated to see the way it goes. I don't really mind where
Yeah.
stuff goes, but I do. But it will be better for me once PlayStation are putting stuff in their subscription service day one as well, and they will do it
Yeah, I mean,
eventually.
they haven't
This
been
will
doing that
happen.
too much. They haven't been doing it. I think like the only title I've seen, aside from their first party titles, that has been day one was Shadow Warrior 3, and it's already gone from the service.
Oh, there
So,
was that
And
Stray as
Stray.
well.
oh, Stray,
Yeah,
that's right, Stray.
Yeah.
Stray is
yeah.
still kind of there, I
They
think.
they will do it. They'll do it eventually, but like they don't want to do it at the moment because they don't really have to because they're so dominant in the market. But they will have to eventually. Like they'll get to a point where Game Pass will just reach a certain point, like they're saying, where they will have to do it and not double dip so much with things. But oh well. Um, anyway, we're getting sidetracked away from this guy. I think I don't want to.
As we should, because
As we
As
it's
should.
just a load
always.
of
Yeah.
it's I personally don't think it's something to be looking into
Mm.
until you see something like Jason Schreier or something like that say it. But
Oh yeah, exactly. I think the whole float is just like it's just some random guy like wish list basically, um,
Mm.
as opposed to anything like that should be taken seriously. Um, but yeah, the other thing that happened is and it's sort of the last of our topics is Bethesda and Arcane Austin dropped a new trailer for Redfall. Have you guys seen it?
no, I have
Have you?
not.
Did I not link it to you?
You did. It's in there. We just haven't had a chance to. I mean,
Uh,
I've watched it, but I don't know if.
I was like, from what I heard about it,
It-
it's great. I just won't watch it until I'll just play it anyway.
You're already gonna play it though, so you don't really.
Yeah.
It's not really. You
yeah.
don't really need to. Okay, so since this trailer, like, it's kind of from what I've heard in terms of chat in the community, it's got more people on board with Redfall. Like, I mean, Dave, we've spoken about this many times. You knew that we both knew that from day one, like of seeing it, that we were going to be playing it.
That's Arcane.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean,
it
you have to
does. Yeah,
understand, Arcane always does great work with stuff like this, and this just it looks bloody terrific, as you might put it. Literally bloody.
That looks
But
bloody
yeah, I
terrific,
mean,
mate.
yeah, well, I wasn't gonna say it like that, but all right. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, like it looking like, considering that Microsoft hasn't had any real premiere releases over 2022, they're swinging for the fences in 2023, and this is one of those games that'll be those premiere titles. I mean, obviously, we know you're going to be gushing over Starfield like every week
I'm
till
already
the end of
gushing over this,
time.
to be honest with you, man. Did you see that game?
This is
Like,
worth gushing for too.
yeah, gushing blood more like though this time. No, it looks like the trailer. It kind of, I think it showed people that this get, because I kind of get people's concerns. They kind of thought it was a little bit cheesy and a little bit like about the co-op gameplay. But no, this is an arcane game. This is a story-driven game. It is dark and creepy. And like, have you guys played Prey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
like when you're walking around that space and it's like it's eerie. It's eerie and like you this most recent trailer, like I think it was like to sort of tie in with like Halloween, but like you're walking around like this house and it's like there's obviously vampires in there and, and you've got a torch and it's dark all the way around. You see one, the flashlight goes out and goes off and then it comes back on and the vampire's not there anymore and you're like, oh shit, and then looking around and then yeah, it's atmospheric and it's spooky. So not eerie, it's spooky, and I think that's kind of what people needed to sort of get them on board with this. Like, okay, this game's got grit to it. It's an arcane game basically. It's not just it's not
Yeah.
something that they've never done before. Like which I think
It'll
was
be
a
fun.
concern.
I think it'll be a great game. I think atmospherically it's different from what they've been doing, and it just shows the arcane. You let them get creative, and they will be creative. It's really something. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun shooter, and hopefully we'll see more of it at the Game Awards in a couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, so God, that's gone off. The Game Awards. I want to talk to you last but not least about your predictions for the Game Awards. I've done mine. I've got a piece. It's very, very early days still, but I've got a piece on the site.
I saw it. Yeah.
Look, it's
and
simple. God of War Ragnarok wins everything. Best driving game, best indie game, everything. It just wins.
no,
That's it.
look, I'm gonna give. I want to find out from you guys what. If you guys have seen mine, I want to just talk. I don't. The viewers don't really care. What
I,
think.
I,
They
I
know this.
agree. I agree with your indie one.
You
Tunic
agree with my
is
indie one?
Tunic is excellent and everything, but I think there are other games you have to consider here as
Okay,
well. I mean,
both of you.
Gran Turismo 7's best driving game. I mean, because there were any other driving games
Yeah,
released
Formula
aside
1
from
2022.
yeah.
Well, by the time Need for Speed, well, actually, Need for Speed Heat will probably not make the
I don't think
cut.
it makes it, does it?
Yeah.
But game of the year, I mean, there's so much stuff to be argued there. We have Horizon Forbidden West. We got Elden Ring, which a lot of people are going to get bloody over. So, that sort of deal. Bayonetta 3's knocking at the door. God of War Ragnarok's knocking at the door. I mean, you said it yourself earlier in the show. Plague Tale Requiem is knocking at the door. And I know a lot of people will swear up and down that Cult of the Lamb was a damn good game as well. So there's a lot to consider there. I'm sure we'll see nominees sometime mid next month. With Jeff doing his thing amazingly still, and we'll get a better idea of what's coming. But
I want you guys to give me your picks for the categories.
God of War
not for all of them.
Ragnarok, we're done here.
No, go on, because I want to hear from Dave. Like, Davey, who do you think racing game of the year? What's for you?
I think it'll still be Elden Ring.
Racing game of the year.
Oh, racing game, yeah, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, still Elden Ring.
No, I honestly don't know. Like, they could. Would Gran Turismo be in that category, or is it too late?
No, Gran Turismo came out earlier this year.
March. It came in March.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that game seems like long ago, so that could probably win it.
Yeah. Do you mean it came out too early? Because I mean.
Well, no.
I think the only other game that's racing game.
March counts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I was more so the game felt like it was last year because I literally once the game dropped, I forgot about it after I played
okay.
it. So I actually forgot it came out this year because there's just so many games.
I'm sorry, where is Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, damn it?
In the same place where the Paw Patrol Kart Racer is.
Yeah, exactly. See? You didn't give any consideration to them. No. GT,
I gave
GT.
consideration to them. It's just I just don't think that they're going to be winning racing game of the year. They might do. I mean, it's just these are my calls. I'm wondering what you guys are. Indie game of the year.
You're so damn jaded. You're so damn jaded.
So
you don't give the puppies a chance.
So Gladius, I take it you think that God of War is going to win racing game of the year too.
Well, I mean, Kratos is going fast for all these guys. You never know.
What about indie game of the year? There's been a lot of decent indies.
You know what? I love Tunic. I do, but I think Cult of the Lamb is in the running. That's a great game in its own right.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
That's a great game. Yeah. So
actually, Davey, you liked that game as well, didn't you? Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, I loved it.
So I mean, that's definitely in the running. And there are, several others I got to take a closer look at. So you kind of hit me out of nowhere with this. So God of War and everything else.
Okay, a game of the year. So I think God of War will win it. I know Elden Ring it's between God of War and Elden Ring in my opinion, but I actually think God of War will do it just because it's just gonna be. I just think it'll be an improvement in every way on the last one, which was good enough to beat Red Dead Redemption. And although Plague Tale Requiem will be my personal game of the year, I think I just think
I got to play some Bayonetta.
you think Bayonetta should win it.
Bayonetta's getting 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, bunch of perfect scores there. So despite this voice actor controversy, it sounds like it's going to be her biggest game yet. So I'm eager to see what it has to involve, you know? I'm excited for it.
Conspiracy theory. What if this whole voice actor fallout between this
Publicity
woman
stunt.
is actually just a whole marketing thing to get people talking about Bayonetta and hype for it? And people get what if it was like? What if she was like,
You know
"Yeah,
what?
I'm actually done. Let's like do
Does-
this
does
whole
it work?
publicity stunt." Yeah,
Hey, does
well,
it
gets
work?
people
Hang on.
get
You know what?
because don't forget she came out and was like boycott it, and everyone was like, "Yeah, well, what?" And then suddenly it's found out that she was like not it wasn't true, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe she tried." So everyone's like, "Yeah, no, I'm definitely buying it now." Like
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's
tinfoil
let's
hats
try.
on.
Let's try something, okay? You know, Mopish promised me $6,000 to be on this podcast, and he hasn't paid it. What's going on?
I sent it to you by carrier pigeon. Is he not there yet?
And no, he's not. What the hell? You didn't want to use DHL like everybody else?
Nah, dude, it's all about carrier
See,
pigeons.
I don't
man.
think it's
sent my
gonna
top
work.
bird, speckled Jim.
This is how you send everything? How do you still have a house?
Ah, I pay my mortgage by carrier pigeon.
Oh, wow. Might explain why he's living on the street.
yeah, I'm living in a cardboard box nowadays. Okay.
But no, I don't think that's the case. I think she was just bitter. She wasn't in it. She was trying to get attention, and it was the wrong kind of attention. So
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's now talk. Let's not talk games of the year anymore. Let's just talk. Give me just one, because I know it's just difficult. Get things you think we will see at the Game Awards in terms of trailers for new games and announcements and things. Whoever wants to go first, jump in.
Davey, why don't you go first? I gotta think about this.
Yeah, like there'd be a few on top of my head. First one probably we'll actually get a release date for Redfall.
Redfall, yeah.
You know what I want? Here's what I want to see: gameplay for Alan Wake 2.
Ooh, I like
It's a
that.
good shout.
That's a
Yeah,
good
we have
shout.
not seen anything yet, so I would love to see gameplay for that, especially if it's going in a different direction than fans want. I mean, I know what you want there, Mopish. I know what you want in 2023. I know exactly. I want a 45-minute presentation on Starfield. Just say it.
Oh,
That's what
just
you
a
want.
ton
Oh,
of
but
deep
little
dive.
does he know it's not coming out until the end of next year.
Really, that would be one surefire way to fucking send me into orbit.
I've been telling you for
excuse
months.
the pun.
Yeah, literally in orbit. Be like, where is it? Is it in space?
Yeah.
Is it here?
I'm gonna go and find Starfield myself.
Let's see. So yeah, I want to see some Alan Wake 2. I'd love to see an announcement about that. Nintendo may show off more of that Legend of Zelda game, which I want to see some gameplay. We could actually see some gameplay this time, which would be awesome. I think we only saw like bits and pieces of what when they officially announced it for May of next year. So we need to see some gameplay for that. And then I'm on the fence about it because I know they're going through hell right now, but I'd love to see more of Stalker 2.
Yeah, I know that would be.
Because they got delayed because they were all, they're fighting the war against Russia, rightfully so. But I'm hoping those guys are okay, and I hope we do see more of the game soon. That'd be great.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, take care of your livelihoods and everything first.
Well, absolutely.
We get the game when we get it.
Yeah, entertainment. We got more than enough to entertain us. You guys take care of yourselves. We got more coming out over the next few months. I mean, even Dead Island 2 is coming back. What the hell happened there? Did we see that coming?
That
crazy.
came out of left field somewhere. Like,
Yep.
Came back from the dead.
We'll also get to see the new Crash Bandicoot
You and
multiplayer
puns.
game.
Yep.
British man, of course I do. They Crash Bandicoot 2. Did you say?
No, the Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League, the multiplayer co-op game.
Yeah.
Is
that kind of like Crash Bash? I've heard.
Maybe we'll find out
guess we
because
will.
it'll be shown off. It will be shown off there.
It'll be interesting to see if how that's going on that. I'd like to see that. But obviously, there's also a word that we'll see Wolverine. I think you mentioned that in your article.
I
The new
think so. Yeah, I
Insomniac
think we'll
games.
see it.
I really hope it's like X-Men Origins Wolverine, like just all out, mature rated, crazy.
Yeah, it will.
That's
That's the impression I got because we saw that little CGI last time. Was it at the Game Awards? Or it was late on last year. We saw it. It
it
might have
was
been the
last
Sony
year.
showcase, and
It was last year.
it looked like gnarly and gritty as hell, like which is Wolverine all over, man. Like he's a dark character. And I just hope that this game is like that. I don't like Spider-Man is sort of quite it's it's Spider-Man. It's kind of cheesy and happy-go-lucky and stuff like that. And I just hope we get like something a bit more gritty and dark and like a lot of just dark shit happening. Like, well, do you think we'll see it, David? Do you like because I know
No,
glad you don't think we're gonna see Wolverine?
no. I think Sony are playing their cards so close to their chest that, like, the fact that we know that Spider-Man 2 is releasing next year and we still have yet to see gameplay, like we won't
They'll focus
see.
on first. Okay.
Yeah, like that releases first, and we haven't seen anything yet.
Wait, hang on a moment. Is this the because what Microsoft said, or is this like have I missed something?
Well,
Who Mike?
no, the Insomniac said in a response tweet that the game, that Spider-Man 2 is still scheduled for 2023.
Ooh.
So it will be out next year, but we still haven't seen anything.
Hmm.
So I don't think we'll see anything from Wolverine just yet until there's an actual official PlayStation showcase.
Do you think we'll see anything from Sony at the Game Awards? Like,
Yes.
aside from winning
Yeah.
games, like.
Yeah, we'll see. They'll probably have their own small showcase like they did for the Summer Games Fest, where it was like just a few games here and there.
They'll probably reveal the new marathon multiplayer game that Bungie's working on. They'll probably have that. They'll probably, I hate to see it, but they're probably going to announce a Horizon Zero Dawn remake, which they don't
If they
need.
do, if they do, we already know how the internet feels about that.
It'll get railed hard, but hopefully, I also want to see more of from Microsoft's side, Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, I think they will. The thing is that we've
That's
seen gameplay
looking
of it now,
good.
so the only thing that we can expect to maybe see from there is the release date.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
probably 2023, which would be great. We'll see.
Yeah, but it'd be the second half of 2023. Maybe it releases like in time for the Game Awards next year.
Yep.
But yeah, did you guys also see this like recent bit of news from this interview that Phil Spencer gave, where he's basically saying that
The Game Pass price is going up.
yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's basically they were saying that he was asked about the prices of, and while he doesn't say hardware, he says we might have to look at the prices of some things going up, but now this holiday isn't the time to do it. And basically, yeah, I think he was talking about Game Pass. And the prices of games. I don't think they'll raise the price of the consoles myself. I think they'll raise the price of games and Game Pass up to $70.
I don't see Game Pass going up in price. It's making tons of money for Microsoft right now. They're doing just fine.
It'll probably go up by another $5 or £5. We'll go up by that. Like I
hope that isn't the case, but I think you're right, Davey. I think they're going to raise the price of Game Pass, and I think because they're going to introduce the family plan, aren't they, as well? So you'll still be able to get it economically at less if you go with different people with it. I don't know. I also think it'll be games as well. I think they'll raise the price of games to $70. They've been 60 now, where the rest of the industry pretty much has been higher for a long time, and it was always bound to happen. Yeah. So yeah, does anyone else do you think anything? Do you think they'll raise the price of consoles?
No, I think Xbox are too heavily focused in Game Pass that they'll bump up that subscription. But however, bumping up that subscription will also lead to the one thing that they've been saying for the past like 2-3 years. 2023 is when Xbox finally start hitting with their games. So as we know, we might get The Avowed, we might get Strenuous Sacrifice. We're getting there's a lot next year.
Here's the thing. Spencer noted to Wall Street Journal Live previously. He said, "We've held price in our console, we've held price on games and our subscription. I don't think we'll be able to do that forever. I do think at some point we'll have to raise some prices in certain things." He says, "At some point."
Yeah.
I don't see it happening right away because they want to make sure
deal goes through.
they want to make sure the deal goes through and they want to make sure their service is viable. So, I mean, I don't see it happening right away. I mean, Sony will because it's Sony.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the best thing that could happen in terms of making sure they don't raise the prices is if Sony were to then be like, okay, games day one in PS Plus, in PlayStation Plus, like that would be the way. Then they'd be like, oh no, we have to really sort of fend off competition, and they wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass, and then they'd probably find some other ways to get the money out of us. But anyway, it's all just speculation until it happens. I don't want it to happen. No, I can't imagine why people want to pay more. It always puzzles me when people say, "Yeah, I'll happily pay extra money." It's just like, why? Why? When you don't have to. But anyway, I think we're done now. Unless, does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I have a few things, but if Gladius wants to go first, or do you have anything to say, Gladius? Before
Gladius.
Gladius, say.
Sorry, it's all right. No, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right, so we just talked about the Phil Spencer thing about him hinting at the price. BioWare also had an update today on Dragon Age Dreadwolf, saying that they're basically talking about how the game has its first big milestone. The game is actually finished from start to finish. However, they're still hard at working on side quests and all that stuff. So we won't see this game probably till 2024. Along with Glenn Schofield of Striking Distance coming out and talking about Callisto Protocol's sequel. We haven't even gotten the first game yet, but he's also saying this is a complete game, but there's a lot of ideas, cool ideas we want to do next. I always want to keep making the next big thing. So we could be getting another sequel to Callisto Protocol a few years down the pipeline. The PlayStation Plus games were also announced officially today, where the PlayStation 5 games are Heavenly Bodies and Neo 2, along with Lego Harry Potter Collection. That's for the PS Plus Essential lineup. And then we will find out about the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium game catalogs later on the month. We also talked about the Rocksteady co-founders leaving, so we don't need to talk about that much. Same with the Witcher stuff. There was some Team Ninja news today as well. The Neo franchise in total has surpassed 7 million units. So that's Neo 1 and Neo 2, along with a new official release date for the Wulong Fallen Dynasty, which is now going to be launching on March 3rd, 2023, worldwide on Xbox, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC via Windows and Steam. And it'll be coming day one to Game Pass. So that'll be on March 3rd. And I think we pretty much talked about... Oh, yeah, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about just to put in the news, that some Capcom news came out today, some financial reportings that Monster Hunter Rise has surpassed 11 million units, and Sunbreak, the DLC, has surpassed 4.4 million. Resident Evil 2 has surpassed over 10 million units. There's no big release before Resident Evil 4 in March, so don't expect anything new from Capcom coming up into the Christmas period. And then Capcom also expects to sell at least another 40 million sales in their IP next year. So they're expecting... So I would say that we could be getting something else from Capcom next year, but there are some of the other huge news outlets from today's gaming anyway. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's something else to talk about.
No, there's been a lot that happen. It's just that time of year, isn't it? It's just a little AAA gaming news.
It's review season.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly is. and we've got a couple of those coming up. Before, if anyone who's listened to this, if you've made it through this far, I imagine you've semi enjoyed this show. So please hit the like button, consider subscribing if you're new. Um, we're going to get on to our outros now, and we'll start with Gladrius the Mighty, because you've got the furthest to go, all the way up to outer space.
Yep.
When you tell us where we can find you, what we can expect from you in the next couple of weeks in terms of content and stuff.
Well, I am in outer space, so probably not much, but I am going to review Falling Out fairly soon, so be sure to look out for that. And then I'll see what else I can cover from there.
Awesome. And Davy Boy, tell us where we can find you. Tell us what you've got coming up.
Yeah, I should be dropping my Plague Tale review tomorrow over on Mr. Davy Boy, and you can find me on Twitter at DavyBoy117, and you can see me just tell people that they're silly when they talk about speculation on things that don't actually happen.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, it's been awesome. I'm Mopish Lawyer, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. Find me there. Join us on Twitter, via Gamerhub, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, Discord. Join us in the chat here on YouTube, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Adios.
Chicken grease.
Peace, chicken grease.